The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
Marlon Pack is asked about fatigue after Millwall, a second 90-minuter, back-to-back. He says, "Tiredness late in games is a concern, and it was a bit against Charlton as well. The scoreline helps, it definitely helps with the turnover to the next game. We could actually start holding on to ourselves more, lock out instead of progressing bodies forward too much." That said, Regan made a great overlapping run towards the end. "Listen, we need to manage the game as we see fit. The scoreline helps, but we're professional footballers, and this is what we do. The coaching staff have been great in terms of limiting training hours. At the minute, the games are the priority, and we have to make sure everyone is ready and fit to go, as best they can, in these games. In terms of improving, I think we can be a bit braver because we see it every day in training. First and foremost, we have come up against two opponents who are very good physically, so we've had to battle and then earn the right to play. But I think there's been a bit of fluidity, perhaps more so at Charlton because they were man for man, so we tried to drag them over the pitch and play. Even against Millwall, though, I thought there were some really good passages of play. Swifty is one I trust to give the ball, because I see it day in day out in training. Technically, he's outstanding and can take the ball in tight spaces and have those little shimmies. There's those little touches he has too. Ibu is a good foil for us both too. He covers a lot of ground, very athletic, physical and aerially dominant. He's become a fan's favourite, and rightly so. When you talk about Pompey and what Pompey represent, that's him in a nutshell. You know what you're going to get from him, and his quality actually goes under radar. He can play. People would have initially felt he was coming in as a combative midfielder, but he's got a bit of everything to his game, and he's added something different to the group. At the minute, we're complementing each other really well. It's very promising."
That's Marlon Pack talking, as ever, buckets of sense. He's going to be a good manager, isn't he, someday, for sure. But going back to what he was saying, they pace themselves with fatigue if they've got back-to-back games towards the end of a game that they're in charge. They've got a good lead, then they pace themselves. They don't go rushing forward. They are thinking already about the next game, which, as I say, over this particular period is almost immediately. So that's reassuring. He also has lots of praise for the way in which the coaching staff and the medics, I guess, are handling their fatigue levels and their exhaustion, their tiredness, aching muscles. So that's great. The words he has to say about Ibu Adams, of course, every single Pompey fan. Many issues divide and unite Pompey fans, but this one is completely decided by everybody. He is a fantastic addition to the squad, and Pat got it absolutely right. It's not just because of everything he brings with the ball, it's who he is and the way in which he generally plays the game. He's absolutely right. He's so Pompey. That sprint down the pitch and the salute of the Fratton end it'll be semi-legend in years to come. And he could be the man whose arrival plays the biggest part in comfortably keeping us up, touch wood, this season. So he's down for 2 shouts at legendary status with Pompey. And, of course, he's right about Swifty as well. He's really come good. He took his time. Maybe one day we'll find out if there was a reason for it. Sometimes there is no reason, or at least nobody can identify it. But he's really come good just lately, and he couldn't have timed it better, could he? Probably Millie Ali is also worth a mention, but no doubt that Pack would have come out with the same praise and effusive support for everything that he does. He's been a breath of fresh air, a bit of a surprise, and we've got ourselves quite a package now. In fact, I'd be prepared to start, but I ain't going to finish, the argument as to whether some of those previously nailed-on players are going to manage to get themselves crowbarred back into the starting lineup when they're fully fit. We shall see. For various valid reasons, nobody from Pompey Sound was able to get to the Millwall game. And since we feel it's important that we do talk to somebody who watched the game, we contacted one of the MOUSINHO family, certain in the knowledge that they were there en masse and have a good footballing brain. And sure enough, John Mousino's dad, Gordon, was kind enough to fill me in on his views. First of all, what are his main takeaways from the Millwall game?
The team are playing with much more confidence than they'd shown hitherto. I suspect a lot of that is down to Abu Adams and, to a slightly lesser extent, Millie Ali and a rejuvenated Marlon Pack and John Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
yeah,
that's the main takeaway, really.
Yes, those last two names that you mentioned, these are, politely, they're seniors.
Yes.
And now they're bringing their seniority, both of them. Swift, it's very recent. Marlon Pack, I suspect it's simply always been there in him.
Well, I was at the game with, amongst others, a Millwall fan on Saturday, and he immediately clocked that Marlon was bringing his senior game, in terms of both winning fouls and slowing it down when it needed slowing down. So, I mean, against Charlton, he was caught out for pace a couple of times, but he's going to be. So you have to accept it.
Yes, his argument there, I've seen, is that speed was never one of his great strengths.
No, but I do remember him as a youngster playing at Wycombe alongside John. He was certainly quicker then, 15 years ago.
Well, we all were, but
yes.
There you are. I didn't know he'd played alongside John. That's new to me, and probably new to quite a few Pompey fans.
Yeah, he was on loan, I think, to Wycombe at the time from whoever it was. But, I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. I'm not imagining it.
No, and they click, don't they? Because if ever there's a moment he has the opportunity and he's on the pitch, Marlon will come over and have a word with John, and one sometimes isn't quite sure who's telling who.
Yeah, that's right. So it's working quite well. I do worry that tomorrow might be a slight bridge too far for some of the senior players, as it were.
Gordon Mousino, and you can hear the whole of the interview, it's 10 minutes, by going to our podcast platform, or your podcast platform, I should say, and inputting Pompey Sound, and you'll see it listed towards the top of the podcasts that are available.
The football experts at the 72 have been consistent in their predictions for Pompey's last two games. Consistently wrong. Here they are again with foretellings of doom and gloom. James Ray. These two sides come into the game off the back of massive wins on Saturday. Wrexham produced a clinical attacking performance to put 5 past Ipswich Town, while Portsmouth surprised everyone by cruising past Millwall. An away performance like that going into another game on the road will do wonders for Pompey. The travelling faithful will be right behind them, and confidence will be flowing through the players' veins. Wrexham are in a great place though. They've got better and better as the season has progressed, and they're right in the promotion fight as a result. I reckon Pompey will be a good test for Wrexham, but I can see the hosts getting the job done. Prediction: Wrexham 2, Portsmouth 1. Harry Mayle. Wrexham are in a strong position as they look to cement their place in the playoffs. They have proved that they can mix it with the big boys in the Championship. The Red Dragons will be full of confidence after their Ipswich Town win. They are carrying momentum and will fancy their chances of another win here. Portsmouth are no pushovers though, and will battle for a result in North Wales. Pompey will be in good spirits after their eye-catching victory over Millwall. John Mousino's side continue to compete in a relegation battle. I think they may slump to a defeat here, but it will be a close one. Prediction: Wrexham 2, Portsmouth 1.
The predictions of football news agency The 72. Their predictions are normally not bad, which is why we bother with them on Pompey Sound. But the last two games, both of their experts went for a Pompey defeat. And we acknowledge that predicting the outcome of football games is a difficult business. However, we have Steve Bone, whose unmissable weekly podcast is available, ad infinitum, actually. It's always up there if you want to go back in time. He speaks with such command and wisdom that every word is worth hearing. He usually ends his pieces with a prediction about the next game. And the last two games, I think he was entirely alone in predicting that we would beat Charlton and that we would get something at Millwall. Well, we did get something. We got a big something. So well done, Steve. And let's hope that the 72 are wrong again.